Welcome to Unlikely Lovers. Coming up, we meet dominatrix duo L and Val, who decided that two's company, but three's a couple, so invited slave C to live with them.
And yes, sometimes we have sex. That would be either two of us or three of us or whatever's happening at the time.
We join Anita, whose husband Bill is now her wife Deianne.
When I put my nightie on, I pass the mirror in the bedroom and see a little bit of hair sticking out where the lump used to be.
We meet Terry, who fell in love with a boy literally when she realised her son's 17-year-old school friend was the one.
When I was 18, you had a nappy on.
Unlikely Lovers Mike and Ginny reveal that size really does matter. And we meet Joanna, who married a man old enough to be a dad and who was engaged to her mum when they first met.
What I didn't realise was that it was my bed she was planning on going to.
But first...
To me, unlikely lovers sort of means that people who have made a relationship for themselves despite their differences or despite what other people think of them, and have just made it work against all odds, really.
41-year-old L, also known as Master El Diablo, doesn't have just one unlikely lover, he has two.
It's my wife, Mistress Valkyrie, and this is my slave, C.
Elle and Val have been married for 3 years and are both dominant in every sense of the word. So 23-year-old C came to live with them 18 months ago to relieve the tension.
C performs a lot of different duties within our relationship. She does the things around the house like the cooking, the cleaning, and yes, sometimes we have sex. That would be either two of us or three of us or whatever's happening at the time.
I felt completed when I met Master. When I met him, I didn't know he was married, but he explained to me quite quickly that he is married and she is the centre of his world, and that would never change, which I accepted and came into this world, accepting fully that they're married and that I am the slave.
C came along because I was doing a photo shoot of a supposedly dominant female for a magazine. She wasn't dominant at all, she was submissive, and at the end of the shoot she begged to become my slave, at which point I spoke to Valkyrie and said, look, this is what's going on, what do you think? And she went, yeah, okay.
And Elle's wife Val immediately felt the benefits of another woman joining their relationship.
Well, the first week was brilliant. He was flying in the air. I felt feelings I never felt before. It was just awesome. It was beautiful. I felt she straight away completed something what I couldn't do for Elle, so therefore she actually was completing my love, if it makes any sense, to him.
But Val's initial enthusiasm didn't last long.
There, obviously, after 3 weeks, it started being more realistic. We started, obviously, knowing each other a bit better, and the negative emotions started creeping in. And obviously, the natural jealousy came out. We had experience with other girls, but not like living with me, not like that. So that was pretty real. And that's what I struggled with, having another female in the same house with me and my husband. And that was something quite difficult to get my head around. So I think it took me about at least the first year.
And to make the three-way relationship work, there have to be strict rules.
I am the wife. My husband is obviously my partner and he's my lover and all that. And C is a slave. I can honestly say if she would want to be another girlfriend, I wouldn't at all agree with that, I wouldn't be happy about it. But because she understands her role and she knows that it's very different to what I have, and we're all kind of completing all that circle from different angle, so it's making much more easier sense to all of us. When you're managing a relationship with one person, it's complicated. With 3 people, it's overly complicated.
And things can get very complicated.
Thank you, Mistress.
You're welcome. Had to be done.
I think when people first see us, I think it's a physical thing, you know, they see, oh, crikey, she's, you know, Charlie's quite a reasonably tall person compared to me. I'm short, you know, only 3'8". And then when they get to know us, they, you know, come a little bit closer, they sort of see that there's also a bit of an age difference between us, and I think that, you know, that's what draws them to us.
break your ball.
In Yorkshire, 41-year-old mother of 5, Terry is married to her 23-year-old toy boy, Phil. Their 18-year age gap isn't the only reason why people would call them unlikely lovers.
I think we're unlikely lovers because of our age difference.
18 years difference.
Yeah, and maybe it's because she was in my son's class at school.
Phil had been mates with Terry's eldest son, Dean, since he was 4 years old.
I was a little bit, at the time, I was a little bit upset about it.
And the lads used to hang around together after school.
I used to watch them all play football on the green. Phil always used to sort of be on his own, kicking a ball around and that, and he used to be the one that stood out, and he always used to be a lot more grown up than the rest of them.
And when Phil was 17, Terry noticed how grown up he was, and he started standing out more and more.
I just realised that maybe he's had some sort of feelings for you, but I just didn't quite know what they were. I just thought to myself, no, this can't be right. He was in Dean's class, I've been to parents' evenings. You know, it's just not the done thing, really.
But one summer evening, Terry couldn't hold back her feelings any longer, and she made her move on a schoolboy son's friend.
I always remember you walking out and you had Dean and Scott with you, and I called you back. And I kissed you. And I thought, oh God, I don't do things like that. But I did. And I come in and I didn't regret it, but I did, in a way, because I thought, you're never going to speak to me again. You're going to think, what's an old crone like her doing kissing me?
Full bore on kiss.
It was tongues. It was a naughty kiss. But it was one that meant that you'd come back for another one the next day. Well, when I was 18, you had a nappy on. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't think that, would you really? When you look at it, I don't think so. But when you look at it like that, that sounds quite ugh. But it's not ugh.
It might not have been weird for Terry and Phil, but Dean, Terry's son, and Phil's friend certainly thought it was.
Dean, you're going to ask your dad for some pocket money. So I just tell him to F off.
What does love mean to you? Crikey. To me, it's that if it wasn't there, you'd miss it too much that you couldn't live. If you woke up and that person was no longer there, then you just couldn't carry on. It's like they become a part of your life so much that you're just independent.
You're almost joined at the hip, aren't you?
Yeah.
66-year-old Anita Parry lives in Wales. She's been married to her husband Bill for 45 years, but recently Bill's been going through some changes.
The only thing that's changed is that Bill has now become Deianne.
Gender dysphoria is a peculiar thing. You sometimes feel so feminine that the only means of release is cross-dressing. In other words, dress in the gender you feel. And that's a tremendous relief. Just imagine this now, see. And then sometimes it might not happen for weeks or months or even years until almost my 60th birthday was so regular, so overpowering that I had to do something about it.
I didn't have any idea of what was wrong. Way back in 1997, Bill came to me and said, I've got something to say to you. I want to be a woman, I want to dress as a woman. The way I dealt with it was I had a little cry, and then I thought of something that I hadn't worn for a long time because it was too long for me. It was a pair of pleated culottes. So I ran upstairs and got those out of the wardrobe and gave them to Bill.
It was like a love offering. And then, when it was time to get to bed, she says, well, now, do you want your old pyjamas or do you want a nightie?
Before the sex change operation in 2001, Deianne was better known as the Reverend Bill.
We were the pillars of the society because there I was, a working minister, and we were the centre of society, as it were, and the centre of churches wherever we went and ministered. Anita and I have been thrown out of 3 chapels simply because they can't cope with, quote, a transsexual. They feel it's immoral. And it's something I miss, and Anita misses, because we made it an event. We used to go together to a chapel, and we used to be there all day together, and all that has been lost to us.
But the church isn't the only thing that Deianne has lost.
I can't even remember the feelings before the operation and having that awful thing sticking out, you know. Now, when I put my nightie on, I pass the mirror in the bedroom and see a little bit of hair sticking out where the lump used to be.
But as they say, a woman's work is never done, and this is especially true in Deianne's case when it comes to hair.
There are little things that we each do for each other that might not be termed as strictly romantic, but it shows how much we care for each other because we do those things, you know. I mean, like Rich loves having his back tickled. He can't reach it himself, but I think that's why he enjoys it so much. So one of his sort of favourite things is for me to just sit and tickle his back for him.
Terry, aged 41, and Phil, aged 23, got together when Phil was 17 and in the same class as Terry's son at school. After a summer snog, the couple began seeing each other in secret until Terry decided it was time to tell her son, Dean, that she had a new boyfriend, his good mate, Phil.
Dean was actually drunk, and I told him, because I felt really brave then. And I just said, look, Dean, I'm seeing somebody. And he went, oh, who? Anyone I know? Oh, God. And I went, yeah, Phil. And he went, Phil? Phil who? I went, Phil who was in your class at school, your friend. And he went, what? Like that. And I always remember him look. He didn't say a lot.
I was a little bit, at the time, I was a little bit upset about it.
When he obviously thought about it and sobered up, and he just said, at the end of the day, you know, Mum, we're all going to grow up and leave home. And you're going to be on your own, so you've got to make a life for yourself, and as long as you don't get hurt. And I just thought that was something really, really nice to say.
It was fine. It gradually got all right, and I saw that, like I say, I saw that he was making her happy.
In 2002, Terry and Phil got married, 3 years after their first kiss. And Phil is stepfather to 5 kids, but his eldest stepson is still the good friend he went to school with.
We had a few digs from a lot of our friends making jokes. He's your dad and that. I get in a bit of a grump about it, but he just laughs it off. Everyone says to me how happy they are together, and that's time has shown me that there's nothing wrong with it, to be quite honest.
Life goes on. God, we're old news, mate. Talk about someone else. It's just part of our life. We're together and that's it. I've always wanted to be in your skin and be part of you because you're everything. You're nice. So I love everything about you. And your skin's big enough to fit me in as well. Just everything. There's not one thing that I could say. It's not nice. Actually, there is. But I can't say it on national TV. Your farts stink. Especially when you've been eating tuna. But otherwise, I'll still get in your skin.
Rich has a pet name for me. He calls me, well, he calls me Charlie.
No, you can't say.
calls me Charlie because it's short for Charlotte, but he also calls me Tipples for reasons which I will not disclose.
In South Yorkshire live the Potts. Graham is 49 and his wife Joanna is just 24. Now, putting aside the quarter-of-a-century age gap, there's also the small matter of Graham meeting Joanna through her mother. And they were engaged at the time.
She was only a 14-year-old schoolgirl at this time. Me and her hit it off, chatting. I was cooking dinner at the time.
Like, oh, my mum's picked a good one here. You're quite jokey. Didn't have any impressions of fancying him, if that's what you mean.
I'd been with her mum at that point 2 years and we were engaged, but I called it off. I moved out.
And I said, well, I aren't stopping here, because I didn't really get on with my mum. So I said, I'm coming with you. So he got a house with 2 bedrooms and I went and moved in with him.
Joanna left school at 16 and went to work for Graham, but it didn't take long for business to turn to pleasure.
We went out one night and then got a bit drunk and then I ended up with him.
When we got in, I went off to bed. And as far as I knew, Jo had gone off to bed. What I didn't realise was that it was my bed she was planning on going to. So I'm half asleep and Jo crept into the bedroom and got into bed with me and it started from there. So I can honestly, hand on heart, say, yes, I was seduced. I didn't complain.
I think he fancied me though, the father didn't say so.
Mother was none too pleased about it. We've had a few raised eyebrows when we say that I used to be engaged to Jo's mum, and there's 25 years age gap between us. Nobody's frowned on us for it. We've had no nasty reactions from anyone, no. Oh, everybody gets on fine. John and my ex-wife get on fine. Joanna's father has remarried and, you know, we regard them as in-laws, even though my mother-in-law is actually younger than me. My father-in-law, I think, is about 3 years older than me. My son is 1 year younger than my wife, but no, everyone gets on fine. There's not a problem at all. Nobody's had any problem with it whatsoever.
That's everyone apart from Graham's ex-fiancée, who is also Joanna's mother.
I've seen her and she's hurled abuse at us not that long ago. But she says that she'd take me in with open arms if I split up with Graham, but I don't particularly want her to take me in with open arms.
Joanna and Graham tied the knot 3 years ago and have a 6-year-old daughter called Alicia. Graham also has 2 other daughters, and the Potts clan have come to Wales for an even larger family reunion. They're going to visit Graham's son and introduce 24-year-old Joanna to her new grandson, Rhys.
I think this is what the Continentals describe as brunch. Righty then.
Where's Archie? She's locked her in. It locks you in, you know. You're lucky.
Right, so after a false start and a forgotten child, now they're off to see the grandchild.
Sex is quite an important part of a relationship,
Yeah.
to a degree, but it's not the be-all and end-all. I think, you know, the important thing is to have that connection as a person together first.
Yeah,
I mean, Charlie's my best friend, she's my soulmate, you know, as well as being my lover. And, you know, you can't have one without the other thing if you're truly in love with somebody. But sex is good, it's like the icing on the cake, isn't it? It's healthy for a relationship, and we like lots of it.
In Wales, 49-year-old Graham and his 24-year-old wife Joanna are en route to visit Graham's son Martin. Joanna's also going to meet her grandson Rhys for the first time. Well, her step-grandson.
At my age in life, it might be the only chance I'm ever going to get all 4 of my children and my grandson together all at once. Because with Martin living down in Wales, obviously, we don't see him that often. He's got his own life down there. My 2 other girls live with their mum, and I'm going to have the opportunity to be with all 4 of my children and my grandson all at the same time, which is quite special for me, really.
Oh.
We've never been here before, actually. So we now know where his son lives and his girlfriend. So we're very happy.
You can always rely on family to speak their minds. And the rest of the family say they're happy with their 20-something stepmom.
Doesn't bother me with the age now, as long as I'm happy.
Because she's only like really young and she don't really like being called a grandma. So it's funny.
You know, whether I'm against it or not, it's not for me to say, but no, I get on with them both fine. I seem very happy.
Cheese.
So, with the extended family happy enough, the Potts look set for a happy ever after.
I've never felt like this before. It's taken me nearly 50 years to find contentment. But I have. So, yeah, I know it's right.
I'll look after him when he gets old and wrinkly. Promise.
Because we understand each other so much, we've got such a connection as people together, then, you know, the lovemaking side of it is so much better because you're not inhibited with each other, you know, you can express yourselves freely with each other and it's good.
Deianne used to be a man, but is now a woman, who lives with her wife of 45 years, Anita. Until 1998, 66-year-old Deianne Parry was better known as Reverend Bill Parry. In 2001, the transition from male to female was complete. Well, almost, but who's splitting hairs?
You know, I'd love to get rid of Bill so he doesn't have to keep cropping up. But no right-minded woman would go around with a stubble like this.
Every fortnight, Deianne leaves Wales to go to Altrincham to have electrolysis treatment, so she is all woman.
I'm not a transsexual. Trans means to be transitioning, to be moving through. And I have moved through. What you're doing is getting rid of the remnants. An ultra woman really is how I would describe myself. I do my makeup before I go out. A lot of women don't these days. I have to do it because I have to be streetwise. I mean, I wouldn't wear mini skirts, although my legs sometimes show.
Deianne and Anita have been together since 1959 and are regulars down at their local charity shops. But they used to be a little more covert when it came to dressing Deianne.
We used to have a peculiar thing going on because, you know, I'd look at a garment and say, oh, I fancy that. But of course I was in male mode. So Anita would get a hold of the garment and I'd suggest, well, why don't you try it? But she'd take it in there, put it on the hook in there, right? I'd go in with something like a suit, you know, stodgy thing. And then I'd try on the dress or whatever we'd put in there, just to see if it fitted, you know. It was a very sneaky thing to do, but it worked. How's that? How's that, Nita? Do you know what, Nita? I think I'll walk out with this.
Yeah?
Kevin can cut the label off.
Yeah.
Yeah? I'll pay for it and walk out with it.
The things I miss most with Bill is being able to walk along the street holding hands. It's not possible anymore because people would read things into it and think that we were lesbians or something like that, but we're not. We did have quite a relationship with our youngest daughter to begin with. But then when the grandchildren started saying 9, which is the Welsh equivalent for grandmother,
About me.
They didn't like it, so we haven't seen them since.
So Anita has only seen our middle daughter once in 7 years. And we love them. We love them greatly.
But Deianne and Anita still have each other, and there's nothing like a girls' night out to put a smile back on their faces. Mike and Ginny Rose have been together for nearly 3 years. Mike is a towering 6'8" and Ginny is a petite 5 foot. That's a difference of 1 foot 8 inches, or to put it another way, 20 inches, or another, it's 50.8 centimetres, or it's the height of one of the tables in their home, which is handy.
I think we're an unlikely couple for the simple reason Gin's 5 foot and I'm 6'8".
But 49-year-old Mike and 50-year-old Ginny's meeting was also less than conventional. Mike was visiting a friend in hospital when he clocked the fox in the next bed. It was Ginny.
When I saw Ginny, I thought she was a stunner. So before she left hospital, I asked her a mobile number. I told her £6-7 to pluck up the courage and ring her up. And when I did finally ring her up, I was on my phone for 2 or 3 hours talking to her. So my phone bill was astronomical, but it was well worth it.
Mike got down on bended knee just 6 weeks later to propose to Ginny, and she was able to say yes, face to face, not face to navel.
We got married Christmas Eve 2003, and I never thought I'd get married again to somebody as beautiful as Gin, particularly with a face like mine. I very often have to get down to Gin's level. I have to get down on my knees to be the same height as her. It is quite funny seeing us both like that.
I love him more now. I think it's because he's game for a laugh, he'll do anything. It's just a different relationship. He was just stiff and starchy when we first started going out. He wouldn't wear jeans or nothing like that, not even a pair of trainers, but I brought him out of that shell.
Both Mike and Ginny have been married before. While Ginny is twice divorced, Mike was a widower when they first met across a crowded hospital ward.
I was 19 when I met my first wife. We were together for 22 years. She died of a heart attack just over 5 years ago. And I never thought I'd find anybody else. I thought I'd be on my own for until I die.
And no matter where they go, the tall and short of it is the unlikely lovers attract attention. But it doesn't seem to bother them as they work well together.
To me, she's my pint-sized princess. She's lovely. Sometimes I feel I could fit her in my pocket, to be honest with you.
He's a tall man for someone like her.
You'd have to be some kind of nice sort of fluffy puppy. Oh no, actually, you'd be a big cat, one of the big cats. Something like a panther, really sleek and beautiful and...
Bit mysterious.
Mysterious, dark, and also quite predatory, but in a nice way. You got to...
Like a panther, but
like
in a zoo.
Panther. Yeah. A caged panther. Yeah, no, because you've got a lot of fire and get up and go about you. That's what I'm trying to get across, that kind of thing.
Anita and Bill Parry were man and wife for almost 40 years, until 2001, when they became wife and wife, when Bill became Deianne.
Well, I'm a very shy person. I never really got on well with people, but when I met Bill, we just seemed to click, and I don't think I could live without Deianne now.
I feel guilty at the fact that when I look back at it now, our sex life wasn't great. It was, you know, regular, but it wasn't ecstatic. And now she has nothing at all as far as sex life is concerned. The way I try to make up for it is we go dining. The problem with us two is that I have to still do the butchy thing, you know, and do the ordering and everything.
I do it sometimes when you've gone to the toilet.
Yeah.
I order the wine sometimes.
Oh, okay.